think there we go. I think we should be live now across YouTube, X, and everything. So yeah, let's just hide this window. Okay, so we are across Zoom, YouTube, and everything. Let me just give a test message here, and then we're gonna get the party started in about a minute or so. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this chat. Okay, let me just make this a bit smaller. Cool. All right. While we wait for some more people to join, yeah, I think let's wait about a minute or two. Give a quick comment in the chat, or where you're listening from, where you're from, and what do you do? Which country? What do you do? It'll be nice to see who we're chatting with. Yeah, I'm really excited to get started in this. I think it's going to be quite a helpful one. Yeah, Jason's awesome. He's from South Africa. He does web design and marketing. Awesome. Let's see if anyone else. See, we've got about. There's Will. Hey, Will. Yeah, good to see you. Will's from Montreal, Canada. Web designer. Shadab is from India. Nice. From front-end engineer. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we've got about almost 20 people with us so far. I think we'll wait until we get a few more, and then we're gonna get started. Naveen from India. Nice. What do you do, Naveen? Indri, yeah, it's good to see you. I see your name almost every day. Thanks so much for your engagement and your support and everything. He's from Albania, WordPress developer. Naveen, you also specialize in WordPress. Yeah, good to see you, Indri. And there I see Christian is with us. That's nice. Leah, sorry if I'm getting your name pronounced wrong. So Chelmsford, UK, web designer looking to freelance. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, I think let's get the party started. So actually this mic is not working for some reason, but let me just keep it here for, okay. Christian, I'm good, man. I hope you're doing well as well. And I'm looking forward to chatting, Q&A afterwards. Okay, so basically I've got some slides prepared on breaking 10K. And this is trying to condense the nuggets, the 80-20, on what has been good for me and what has been good in me helping others, become freelancers or agency owners. And I really try to spend some time on this to cut the fluff, and really get to the point. So I'm hoping that you guys find this helpful. I think it's about 20 slides or so. Yeah, about 20 odd slides, and then we're going to open up some Q&A after that. So with that said, I think let's just get straight into the nuggets and straight into it. And if you guys have any questions or anything, just post it here or comments or whatever, and then I will see if it's relevant. Maybe if it doesn't break the flow, I'll reply then, or we'll do that right at the end. And I should mention it is recorded. So yeah, let me just mention that admin side out of the way. So let's get into it. And I actually got this cool Stream Deck thing. So hopefully it allows me to push some buttons and be fancy. I've never done that before, so let's try. So, oh, there we go. That's naughty. I just want to, let me just actually double check. Can you guys see my screen change? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the worst when you think it's one way and it's not. Okay, so breaking 10K, and yeah, let me move this. Yeah, okay. So here's what we are discussing. We are discussing leads pipeline, your funnel, sales, your offer, lead generation, and then we're going to open up for Q&A. So there's a few things I just want to touch on, and that is this. 10K, it is not meant to be easy to reach that. I think, there's too many gurus online that make it seem like it is, that you're going to get there in 3 months. The reality is it's extremely, extremely rare. It's probably not going to happen. It's going to take much longer than that, and it depends on your starting point, right? And for me, I think the best way to think of this is think of this as step 0. So there's going to be a lot of information. You have to think about, here's my first step, right? How am I going to take the next step? How am I going to grow and scale from there? It's going to make a lot more sense as we go, but I just wanted to mention that caveat before we get the party started. So let's move on to my extremely professional, well-designed designs. Let me just actually zoom in. Can I zoom in? Yeah. Okay, let's go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, in a nutshell, what we need to think about is we need customers to come to you as the seller. And here are some questions I would like to propose that you think about. How many customers do you actually need to actually have a very good business? Which type of customers? Not every customer, contrary to popular belief, not every customer is equal in that sense. Some customers are, let's say, more valuable than others, and we need to think about that. For example, doctors are a lot more difficult to reach out to compared to massage therapists, right? So we need to think about that. The other thing is buying what? This is going to make a lot more sense as we go. And also, this question people don't ask themselves enough. Why? Why should they buy your services? Okay. So a few practical questions. Now let's get into expanding on this, right? It's going to make a lot more sense as we go. So starting with buying what? This is absolutely crucial because I think too many people rush into it and saying, I'm selling websites or I'm selling X. But here's the reality. Think of it from a perspective of what are you selling? And I'm being quite direct here. And there's a reason I'm doing this because I really want to get straight to it and not fluff around it, right? If you're selling websites, your 9-year-old niece sells exactly the same. How are you going to differentiate yourself? How are you going to stand out? If you're selling marketing, can you even get results? Okay, good questions. I hope I've got your attention so far. So let's go on to the next one. Now, there's a difference between a 1K freelancer and a 10K freelancer. The 1K freelancer would say things like, I make websites, I do marketing. The 10K freelancer would say, I get ... I'm curious to know, there's actually, think of this as a test, like a Q&A test. Do any of you know what the ... would be? And yeah, it's good to know that your niece is 11, so so I'm curious, and really think about this, right? There is a difference, and I've seen this in working with many freelancers, advising many freelancers, doing this for a long time. The 1K freelancer would say this, the 10K freelancer would say what? There we go. Christian, I like it. I get plumbers to have their phone ring. Good, it can be better. Shabab, I think you've got it. I get results. So the phone rings is good, but ultimately we want the results for that. So that's more like how can I say, a stepping stone to getting the end results. So Christian, so think about this, right? Like, please, this is what it condenses down to. You can say I make websites, or you can say I get results. Okay. So here is the question: what should you sell? What should you sell? And as we touched on those points, you have to sell results. You're selling what you've done. This is the way to stand out from your 9-year-old or your 11-year-old niece or whatever, right? because everyone these days is selling what you are selling. So here's another point to mention what I'm saying. If you say, I've got 5 years of experience, so what? Your experience means nothing. If you say, I create pixel perfect designs, I will say AI is better, or it will be. If you say, I spent 2 months on this, I'll say there's a template for that, or there's a marketplace for that. So can you see what I'm trying to get at? The skill set of selling websites, or of selling marketing, that is small, the tip of the iceberg. What really matters is what you are doing with that, what you are actually selling underneath that. And what you're really selling underneath that, it's not a website, it's actually results. It's them to get them more sales. If you're selling marketing services and they are paying you 500, 1,000, 5,000 a month, why must they pay it to you and not get results? They're not running an NGO. They want profit on what they are paying you. So I hope you're on the same page so far, and I'm sorry if I've offended a few of you so far. We're just getting started. So let's look at the next slide. Now, let's go back to this example, right? The 1K freelancer would say, I make websites for everyone. The 10K freelancer would say, I helped 10 dentists double their patient bookings within 12 months. I hope this is clicking so far. Something is, clicking. And I'm going to get to the point of, and we can discuss, if you are here, how do you transition to there? We'll get there. But for now, I just want to show that there's a difference, to think about this a bit differently. And remember, you're essentially selling the same thing, but you are doing it in a more strategic way in how you're pitching it and how you're getting results. So I make websites for everyone. This is the wrong way. I've helped 10 dentists double their patient bookings within 12 months. This can be improved and expanded on, but I think it makes sense, self-explanatory. So let's look at this, right? Whether it's websites, SEO, Google Ads Management, Facebook Ads Management, A/B split testing, email marketing, content writing, designs, X, Y, and Z, right? This, ultimately what you're selling, this behind this layer is the results and the outcome, okay? Sorry, I'm just noticing Nat's, I wonder if I can actually put this up here, because this guy's a character, my word. How do I actually add you? There, add to broadcast. So Nat, do you want someone? Yeah, Nat is he's a special one. He's a special one. I'm just gonna remove that. Yeah, so I hope this is making sense so far. Let's go to the next one. So a lot of people would say to this, okay, fine, what's the next logical thing if I don't have results to sell? And my advice, by the way, this works all the time. My advice is you either step one is to do work for cheap. If that doesn't work, do work for free. I know I said the word free, but you have to look at it from the perspective of long term. It doesn't make sense short term. You want to get 3 testimonials or case studies. And let me tell you, I just want to reiterate, it does not matter what you are selling. In this case, I know Christian is with us. He specializes in Velo. Whether you are doing software development or whatever, you want to get work done. People don't want to read about what you can do. They want to see, oh, you made this website. So what? They want to see the results that website got them. So again, it's a layer deep. And let me stress, I'm not talking about getting to 1K a month. I'm talking about getting to 10K and beyond. And look at all agency websites. Look at all freelancers who do this. They do not sell it. They sell the results that it will bring. Okay. So yeah, get 3 testimonials, case studies, and then you would sell that. Okay. I'm going to give you an example now. So this is what I did when I approached massage therapists. This was a brand new niche that I targeted. I think it was like 4 years ago, I think. And it's really a good niche. So I'm going to tell you my approach. So what I did was So back then I didn't have Wix Studio, but what I did was I created a free website. I just coded it. Nowadays it's easy with some templates that you can use on Wix Studio or whatever else, really, really easy. So you would create a free website. You would make it an actual legit website. You would upload it on a URL, okay? Then what you would do is you would look on Google Maps for massage therapists or, your niche, right? Or whatever you want to search for, whether it's landscapers or whether it's deck installers or whether it's, whatever, X, Y, and Z, you would look on Google Maps and you would look for them with no website. You can do ones with website, but that's a different approach. I'm just telling you the one that I did. So look for no website. You will get 100+ leads, okay? It's important that you vet your leads very well. And I sent an email to just basically saying, hey, I noticed you don't have a website. Is there any reason for that? Would you be interested in this website completely for free, no strings attached? All I ask for is a testimonial in exchange. Literally, that's literally the email that I sent. Back then, I didn't even have a follow-up sequence in place. So 2 of them took it. Then, you know what I did? I sold these 2 testimonials, which basically said something like, amazing website, blah, 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 to get paying clients. And I would say, I recently helped X and Y with a new website. This is what they say. Would you be interested, in a call? I'm going to show you like another template that you can use. I'm just saying it out loud. So this approach does work. And it works today. It works with many people that I help. And if I was approaching a new niche again today, I would do exactly this. In this case, someone asked me recently, which niche would I approach? And I said I would actually probably do Wix Studio e-commerce as like a platform niche. I think it's a very nice niche to approach. I would create, websites for some e-commerce websites that suck. I would say, hey, here's a completely brand new website. Here's how you would use it with a CMS and, deals and blah, blah, blah. Would you be interested? Completely for free. All I ask for in exchange is a testimonial. And then I would use that to get future paying clients. So, yeah. Are you guys still with me? Give me like a thumbs up or something if you have any questions about that. Now I'm going to move on to, wait, I see Christian has something to say. He says, I'm in the zone with my Pharma client and for Velo client. Yeah, exactly. Nice one. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Now, this sort of expands on what I mentioned, but it's how are you selling it, right? You have to think about to who, and you have to think about how. So to who? Everyone, or niche, or an industry. And when it comes to a niche or an industry, this can be either down to potential that you see in the market, or interest, or maybe experience. So for example, when I left my full-time job to do freelancing, I had a lot of experience in e-commerce, and that's something that I went into. Yeah, thanks Shalini, thanks Norm, thanks Heath. And yeah, we all come from different backgrounds, right? We've all got this different experience and whatever. So think about that. And if you want some confirmation on a niche, let's chat. I'm more than happy to share my opinion. I've tried so many different businesses, niches, from pizza shops to florists to lawyers, accountants, many different sort of random things, and I can at least share from my opinion. And how? So it's very easy to get started, right? I speak to how many people saying, I tried freelancing and it doesn't work. My concern and my issue with that is, what have you done and how have you done it? Okay. Too many people do outreach the wrong way. Too many people are sleazy in how they do it. And if they do it, thinking they're doing it right, they are saying the wrong things. So yeah, to who and how. So let me just put this up. I think it's a relevant question. So Igor's, I think it's Igor's. Let me just hide this 1 second. So Igor says, what about the domain and hosting if you're offering website for free? Very, very good question. Let me just go back to that screen just so that everyone can see. Okay, yeah. So this one. So Igor's, I just want to double check. Can you guys see this question that I put up when I put it on the screen by Igor's or not? Okay. So Igor's basically says, what about the domain and hosting if you're offering a website for free? And I'll tell you what I did was, so that was one of the questions that someone asked me, and I said, look, in the beginning stages, I said you would have to pay for it, and I don't want to lie the exact amounts, but it was like really cheap. It was something like $30 for the year or something like that, which covered like the domain and some hosting or something. One of them was like, okay, no problem, I understand. The other one, what I did was, she was complaining about it, right? So I said, you know what, I'll pay the first year. I'll pay the first year. That's what happened with those two examples. So I think the best way to think of it, right, is $30 is nothing in the bigger scheme of things. And I say this as someone who was struggling financially, where $30 was a lot of money. So I understand the value of it, but you have to look at it from a perspective of, this is going to help you get future clients. And you cannot do it on these free little URLs and all of that stuff. You have to do it properly. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, egos. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So how are you selling to? Okay, so now let's talk about a bit more practical, right? So how are we going to sell this? And generally, there's two options. You've got once off, or you've got monthly. And these are things which are, okay, so let me put it this way. I've got a free cohort, freelancefam.com/cohort. I think it's about a few hours long, 2 hours long. It's really short. And I go into pricing in a lot more detail, and then I share like how much you should charge based on your experience, what you've done, all of those things, beginner, intermediate, advanced, all of that. I'm not going to do that now. We can perhaps discuss it in Q&A if you guys want to. But when I say the options and I say 5,000 and whatever, if you at a beginner level, of course, you're not going to charge this, right? You're going to be charging maybe 500 or maybe 1,000, depending on where you are and depending on the complexity of the website and so on. But there are two options that I just want to point your attention to in the bigger scheme, right? The first one is once off. And on the once off side, you've got an option of doing exactly what it says. You will get paid once for the project, right? Then you've got another option. And the other option is monthly. And this one, if you just have to Google web design subscription pricing or WAS, WAAS, you can read more about this and how it would work. But essentially what you want to do is you want to try and create an offer where you can sell to a business on a monthly basis. And this is very good to avoid the valley income. This is great. The problem with this, and I've done this before, is you would get one client, then you would get another client the next month, and then all of a sudden, just what's happening the next month? And then you go straight down. And then it's like, oh, you get one, and then next, down, down, and then there. So it goes like that. And personally, I don't like working like that. So what can work is a combination of this. I do a combination now, but also I've done this a lot, and I've still got a lot of clients on this. And what you want to try and do is you want to either do monthly services from a marketing perspective, or you want to do a website and a marketing service. So I don't want to mention too many names, but there's some people in the community, and I've still got some screenshots and case studies of people who would share $100 a month for some services, and that was their first client. And then they would share, okay, they've got 500 MRR, per month, and then they've got 1,000, and then 5,000, and then 10,000, and eventually they're making a lot, almost seven figures a year now. And it starts small, right? It's a very easy sell. You can combine it with, let's say, a website, SEO, Google Maps, or Google Ads, whatever. Try and think of something that makes sense from a good offer perspective, and we can chat about this in the Q&A as well. But I just want to give like a higher level overview on the options. So just real quick, I see some questions. So let's just see. So who's that? Keith says, I joined late, so you may have mentioned this, but now how did you find the two companies you offered free services? Yeah, so real easy. I just Googled. So in this case, they're actually Australian. I targeted Australia, and I think it was Brisbane or Melbourne, one of the cities. Or let me put it this way: how I find out which cities to target is, I would say, Australia, top cities by GDP. And then you would get, like, let's say, Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane. So let's say like the top 5. I wouldn't focus on the other ones. The other ones would be too small. And then I would just think like, I want to focus on massage therapists. Let me just type in massage therapist Brisbane. Obviously, I had to use like a VPN at the time. And then I would look on Google, and then I would see which ones don't have a website. I would make a list, put on like, it was Excel at the time. And then I would say, okay, this name, no website, this name, no website, this name, no website, email, and then I would literally contact them from now. There are some automated ways that you can do this now, like scraping tools and everything, but I'm just sharing that's what I did. And you can do that manually. It won't actually take you too long. So Keith, I hope that makes sense. Let's see. So James says, let's just make this a bit bigger. So James says, thanks for the question. Are the testimonials you're selling obtained through freelancing platforms? Where do you ask the clients to write them? Yeah, it's a good question. So not on freelancing platforms. These are clients that I'm chatting with directly. So very simply, I would just ask them on email, and they would just send like 1 or 2 short sentences on email. So that's what I did, and that's also what I recommend. Okay, so Shalini says, following Keith's question, how do you qualify leads after you find them? Oh, now we're talking. Okay, so I'm going to get there. Good question. I like how you think. Okay, so then Storyboard says, let's see. When you offer subscriptions, what guardrails do you use over consumption? One service at a time? What's the approach I'm thinking? Okay, good question. I think let's do this type of question on the Q&A side. And Nadia, will you get recordings? Yes, indeed. Okay, so I'm just going to move on with a few more things, and then we're going to check some questions. Okay, so we are here. Okay, so overview on pricing. Now let's talk about this one, talking about the funnel and leads. So one does not simply fill up a funnel. Okay, there has to be some strategy behind that. And the funnel data has to be something like vetted leads, not just leads. It's easy to get leads. You have to get vetted leads. In other words, are they actually good leads? Are they leads that are on like these terrible databases that anyone can get for free? Or is it something better? Has it been manual research? Has it been scraped correctly? All of that. So think of it from three things that you want to know, right? And whether you use Notion, Trello, Client Manager, whatever, right, to manage it, put it in 3 columns. So vetted leads, interest, and payments. Just at minimum, just 3. And you want to find out, so I'm going to expand on this a little bit more, but the whole thing is, don't complicate it. Keep it simple. Too many people have like 10 different or 20 different fields and whatever. Just keep it simple so that you don't get overwhelmed for now. Okay, so if we look at this and we go vetted leads. So what do I mean by that? I mean a database. And what do I mean by interest? I mean either proposal or call or an email or a reply or something. And then payment, that is only when you have a client. Everything else up to this point is called a prospective client, a lead. You only have a client, not when you send a proposal, not when you send an invoice, when they pay. Okay, very important. Now, let's look at this, right? So, as a rough calculation, if you get 100 contacts, you should get between 2 to 5 interests, meaning either proposal or a call or a reply, okay? And then 0 to 1 payment, okay? This is, I would say, the worst case. Now, a lot of people are saying, but I contacted 1,000 people. I only got 1 person and then got 0. To that, I would say your vetted leads need some work. What you're saying needs some work. Your pricing needs some work. Your offer needs some work. So all of this, if you get, by the way, this might seem like a lot, but once you've got a good offer and a good agency, good results, this is actually very small, and you're gonna close 1 to 3% conversion rate at the minimum. For me, when I sent proposals, I used to only close about 30%. Once I improved on a few different things, like offering multiple different options, a better offer, better niche, all those things, I was closing about 70%. So that instantly helps quite a bit. So we can chat about this. And as I say, it could be 1% or 10%, and it depends on many factors. Okay. So if you are struggling with this and you've done this quite a while, and you are, you tell me like, hey, I've reached out to 500 or 1,000 and I've got nothing, then we need to see it. And 10 out of 10, I've seen this happen on people who say, I've contacted 500 or I've contacted 1,000, no one has shown interest. I'll say, okay, fine. Show me the email that you're sending from. Show me the website, everything. Like, I want to see your email. I want to see the messages that you're sending. I want to see your follow-up sequence. I want to see like what you're saying. Have you got results? If you've got a website, is it actually a very good website that they can potentially see? So that's where it gets very, very important. And I've even seen people who, when they're starting out, they would have less than 5 and they would close an actual client. Complete beginner. Why? Because they were well researched, they had a very, very, very good offer and good pricing, and just made sense. So, getting my phone. Let's see what we have here. Now, how to get leads. So there's a few different things. I mentioned Google Maps earlier. Now there's actually, let me just ignore that. Now there's actually some very cool tools that one can use, right? So if you want to go the Google Maps route, it's called Gmaps Extractor. So yeah, it's a very good scraping tool. Otherwise, you can just use like AI tools and everything, but this is pretty good. Or go the manual route that I just mentioned. Just Google and then just do it that way. From a database point of view, there are very, very good databases that you can use. Lemlist, very good. Instantly, very good. Phantom Buster, very good. And social media is another one. When it comes to let's say pitching anything, SEO or ads or anything, this actually worked really well for me. So I think it was like in 2019, I approached some content creators as a niche, and I'll show you the message that I sent, and this actually resulted in quite a few nice clients. But one in particular was I went through a guy's landing page selling courses. And I said like, hey, I would recommend that you change a few things around and a video here and whatever. And I literally created a PowerPoint design. My designs are very bad, but I still showed him like, hey, just do this layout and do this. And anyway, it actually increased his sales. He said, thank you. Wanted to send me $500 as a thank you. I said, no. And anyway, long story short, that led to a $2,500 a month marketing retainer. That I was with him for, it was like 6 or 7 months, and all from an SEO. I mean, all from a social media message. So that works really, really well. Yeah, agree, Jason. Okay, and then the other one is outreach. Are you going to do emails, DMs, calls, SEO? SEO, when it comes to SEO, it's a big topic, and I don't want to expand on it too much. But again, I think the cohort does cover some helpful information there on how you should do it. So, in a very quick summary, the best thing that you want to do is you want to create landing pages for your desired search terms. So let's say, for example, you want to focus on, and I mentioned an example, if I had to do a niche from scratch now, I would probably go into Wix Studio e-commerce. And that would be a page that I would focus on, Wix Studio e-commerce websites or something, or Wix Studio e-commerce agency. And I would focus on that. I would build it out like a very, very good page, with a relevant technical SEO and on-page SEO and all those things, and get links to those pages. So you want to have a lot of those targeted landing pages for your particular services, and you want to make it very helpful. You want to make it something that you don't want to just think of it from an SEO point of view. At the end of the day, it's a human reading it. It needs to be good content. And then the other one, common sense, but I need to put in there referrals. This is the best long term. Eventually, you know, you're going to get a lot as you keep going and getting results. So think of that. How are you going to get leads? How are you going to get clients? Google Maps, database, social media, outreach, SEO. These are the best ways, in my opinion. If you want to start ASAP and you don't know what to do, my advice, this outreach and social media. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So almost wrapping up, and then we're going to open up some questions. So I get it a lot on like, hey, what do I say? That sounds cool. Okay, so we have to think of it in two different sections, and this is a guideline. This is something that is proven to work. So either you have experience or you do not. If you have experience, you would say something like, I recently helped X business, this business, get these results within this time frame. Okay, you want to keep it short and to the point, then you would say, would you like to chat to see if I can help you as well? That's a very, very good first email to send. Short and sweet, showing what you've done, and you are selling that. Okay. Can you notice that I didn't say like, hey, I'm not doing, hey, would you be interested in a new website? Or hey, I make cheap websites or something. I didn't even mention the website. Okay. So that's just something to think about from if you have experience. If you don't have experience, then you would say something like, hey, John, I noticed a few improvements you could make to your website to get more sales. Here is a 2-minute Loom recording with my suggestions. You would insert the link. No obligations, but if you would like to chat to see how I can help you, let me know if you'd like to hop on a call this week. Again, you can tailor it to how you'd like it, but these 2 emails it works. It works still today. And I think I just want to maybe mention, so you'll see that I added a Loom recording. Yeah, right. This is important because you need to be able to record your suggestions. You cannot pitch them if you do not see suggestions, whether it's from a technical point of view, if you're offering some like velo improvements or whatever, like Christian, you can go on some like apps or something and see some technical issues, or whether it's CRO point of view, where their conversion rate is actually bad and it has some room for improvement. Maybe some layouts in different areas, typography, some examples that you can share. But one thing that really, really works well, and for me and for others, a little bonus tip is to, when you're doing it, let's say you're typing in like plumber in a town or something, and you want to showcase your suggestions and you specialize in SEO, web design, all of those things, the best thing you can show is not their website. Yes, you do it, but it is their competitors. You show how their competitors are performing. And that is a very, very good benchmark to a lot of business owners, so that they can see, like, hey, my competitor ranks on this website. My competitor's website looks much better. He's getting a lot more bookings than me. That is a very good way to make it more relatable in your Loom, and try to keep it short, and then at the end have a CTA to actually schedule a call. Okay, so Will says, do I have this slide on a downloadable PDF? I don't, but this will be a recording, Will. So you can just go to actually my YouTube channel will actually have a recording. I think like literally within the next half an hour, so you should get it there. Yeah, okay, so I'm almost done. I've just got a few more slides. So actually, yeah, I think the main thing I want to sort of leave you with is, if you want to scale to 10K plus and beyond, you have to approach your ideal clients with a no-brainer offer. It's easier said than done, but this requires some strategy. And I'm more than happy to help. You can just tag me on social, or in Freelance Fam in the community or whatever, or we can even chat now on Q&A stuff. But it has to be a no-brainer offer. It has to make sense to the right person at the right price, and why what can you actually help them with? I'm not a fan of being a sleazy salesperson where you're selling random things that you don't know what you're talking about. Learn what you're doing, learn on the job. You don't have to know exactly how to make amazing stuff, but you at least know how to know the difference between an effective website and a non-effective website. Then start. Some people learn that in a day, some people learn that in a month or whatever, but don't procrastinate on this. You have to know what you're doing and how you can actually benefit the business. Okay, that's a part of an offer. Now, if you're closing leads, amazing. Do more of what is working. Once you get to $500, once you get $1,000 a month, trust me, it gets much easier. If you're not closing leads, you have to reflect and do an analysis. Why? Is it your pricing? Is it your approach? Is it the wrong offer? I can't stress this enough. The best agencies that I know do this on a regular basis. They don't just say, okay, we're just doing it. They do it. They might even wing it. But you know what? They always look back, whether it's every week or every month or every quarter, on hey, what are we doing? How can we make this better? How can we improve? So don't think it's not working. It's not working because there's a better way and you are not doing it. So if the clients are staying, this is fantastic. Double down. Obviously what you're doing is working. Okay. If clients are leaving, what can you do better? Is it maybe communication issues? Is it maybe expectation issues? Is it maybe a skill set issue that you need to improve? I've sadly, in the beginning stages of my business, I didn't know what I was doing at all. And clients left. Some clients, left because I would just make some mistakes and I wouldn't know what to do. But once that happens, you need to assess hey, it's not always the client's issue. It's actually me that I can improve on. So yeah, I think the takeaway that I would like to leave you guys with is the following. Only 3 points. And less reading about how to do X, Y, and Z and actually start doing it. Reflect on what you've done. How can you improve? And the best thing is you learn by doing. That's it. Okay. Let me go back there. Okay. Cool. Guys, so that is it. That is the fancy presentation. Yeah, let me know what you think. Any questions, any concerns, anything that wasn't clear, anything that you'd like expanding on. Let's chat. Let me see in the comments. Yeah, cool, Taz. And I think it's Nui. Yeah, no worries. Thanks. Okay, so let's see this. So callbacks. Okay, so callbacks says, should the testimonials be in audio or video form? Because what if the customer is uncomfortable showing? Yeah, very, very good question. So let me put it this way. In the agencies that I approached at the beginning stages to just get a testimonial that was all text. In my main agencies, in this case, like in the medical side, I would have a few how can I say, text ones, and then I would have 2 dedicated video case studies, and that's amazing. So what you can do to incentivize them for video, if they don't have the time or if they don't whatever, you'll just say hey, to really mean a lot, I will give you 10% off your next fee, your next month's fee, if you wouldn't mind doing this, because I know that it might take 30 minutes or of your time. So that's actually a very good win-win, and that's what worked for us. So yeah, hope that makes sense. Christian, go ahead. I see you have a question. Keith, thank you. Let me just do this. Let's see. I'm actually not sure. That's actually a very good thing, because I'm actually not sure if others can also hear that, because it's also. Yeah, I think maybe to be on the safe side, Christian, just maybe type it in and then I can put it on the screen, because I'm actually not sure. I've not tested that thing. So yeah, maybe just type it. Okay, so the digital revolution. I think actually, I'm not sure who this is, but okay. So how long did it take you to go from 0 to 10,000? Okay, so good question, and I'm gonna answer it. But let me just say that, quite frankly, it actually doesn't matter, because some people get there in 6 months, some people get there in 2 years, some people 3 years, and it depends on many, many factors. What counts against me, let's say, is I basically screwed up a lot. That was like how I learned, and I didn't have, like, let's say, good mentors, good sort of people sharing some stuff with me. So it took me just over 2 years to get to that point. But again, it's a relative thing. So yeah, let's see if there's anything more. Okay, so let's see. I think it's there. Yeah, thank you. In your opinion and experience, is it better to niche early, even if you struggle to find a niche? Okay, so this is actually a really good question. My general advice, is to start out as a generalist, even if it's just for 2 or 3 clients, maybe even 5, and then see which type of clients and industries that you like working with, and then branch out from there. Remember, this again is if you are confused. And uh, I mean, I speak to so many different freelancers, agency owners, people wanting to start, people struggling and whatever. And like, what are you really struggling with? And a lot of people would say, I'm actually struggling to find a niche. And that, if that is your hurdle, just go generalist, get a few clients, and then choose a niche from there. But if you've got a few options, a lot of people like might have, like, let's say it's between, well, I mean, so many different things, but let's just use random easy ones for now. Let's say like a lawyer or an accountant. Then we can chat, and then it's good to get some advice on, like, why and how and all of that type of stuff. But if you really don't know at all, just go, the broad one. But I think actually it's quite interesting, because if one has to really think about it, one can find, I would say, interests. I mean, a lot of us, we might have some sports that we do, or some activities after work, or real different interests. And I think if you really think about it, that is a good one. And the other one is just purely just some research on potential. So it's one of those questions where I actually can't give you a direct answer there. My only thing I would say is, if it's a hurdle for you, start out as a generalist, and then niche down from there. Okay, cool. Let's see. So, okay, so storyboard. So I'm actually using a thing called Ecamm. I'm still sort of figuring it out from a technical point of view. And I've got this fancy thing that I just shared. It's called the Stream Deck. Pushing some buttons. I just set it up like an hour before. It seems like it's working so far. So let's see. Okay, so Christian says, let me just move this here. So Christian says, as a developer, should I put pricing on my portfolio websites for hourly work and retainers? 50% of the work will be one-off pricing, but I know that some agencies will want retainers for small tasks. Okay, so man, this is actually such a cool question, and I love this, because something about pricing is, it does not matter what I say. It actually matters what is best. And how do you know which is the best? It's not based on my assumption or what has worked for me based on what I've seen. It's based on what you've tested. And it works for different niches, it works for different offers, it works for different countries. But I can at least share what I think might be the best approach. But it's always nice when you learn something new, and it's like, hey, I tried this and it didn't work. This one actually performs better. It's like, that's awesome. That is the way to really test. And we're not getting taking offense at it or whatever. It's just basically what the data says. So my advice is, in your case, Christian, when it comes to a Velo developer, you have to put yourself in the client's perspective shoes, right? So I would test, but personally, I would prefer seeing your hourly rate there. But I would also like to see different prices. So I would like to see, let's say, how much are you charging per hour? What is your day rate? What is your weekly rate? What is your monthly rate? monthly might not be ideal because you're working with a whole bunch of clients. So I would say like daily and weekly rate, and then you can say a fixed project, get a quote. So you would want to have a few of those different tiers or different options. Then what I would also do is I'll get 100 people on my pricing page or on my website or whatever, with that pricing options that I just mentioned. Then I'll get another 100 with a get a quote, or let's chat, or let's just figure out the scope of the project, and then I can advise on a price and all of those things. Test and see which ones you get, right? Why I am how can I say an advocate for showing pricing is I think it cuts out the poor quality on leads that you're going to get. A lot of people just waste your time. That's just how it is. And if they can see your price, they already know, like, hey, Christian charges $75 or $100 an hour. My budget is 20. I'm not even going to waste my time, with him, for example. And also, again, they know what they're getting, and they can see that you've worked with other different clients and all of these other things. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense, and test it. I'll be very curious to see. So James, let's see. James says this. Yeah, no worries. Thanks, James. Quick question: are the testimonials you're selling obtained through freelance platforms where you ask the client to write them, or is there a different approach? Just to touch on this, you mentioned that you get a testimonial. Oh, okay. So I've never actually used. Okay, so maybe some context. When I started freelancing, I started in 2015, and I went on Fiverr. I got a few clients from there, and then that led me to going more like the agency route and all of that stuff. I've in the beginning stages, did I use like some reviews from Fiverr? Yes, I did. But what I'm referencing now in what I'm discussing with you is literally just sending an email, getting the testimonial via email, and then what I would do is I would add it to my website, either via a testimonial or adding a case study. So the testimonial is like, like the client would say, like, hey, how can I say, like, working with Kyle or working with Kyle's team has really helped. We've really increased our business and blah, 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 stuff like that, right? Then you would add a link where it's a case study on like the before and after. Maybe it was they didn't have leads or a website, now they have, and here's what the result is. Or maybe it's like their website was bad, now after you helped, now they're getting all of these different leads. But in short, email has worked. I mean, there's obviously a lot more tools that you can use these days, but that's something that works well. And how does it help to get the next paid client? So in the outreach messages that are listed, you want to actually not necessarily reference a testimonial. You want to actually reference the results that you got them. So let's say after 3 months or 6 months, you would quite simply just ask them, you would say something like, hey, John, I really take pride in my work. I want to thank you once again for the project that we worked on. I'm curious, have you noticed an increase in sales or bookings, or whatever the outcome is after we work together? And hopefully he says yes. And then you can, get the data, and you can say, like, hey, would you mind if I actually reference this or add it to my website, or write a case study or something like that about it. That is the stuff that is what you want. That is the golden stuff. Okay, so hope you're with me so far, James. Shalini. Okay, so Shalini says, how do you qualify leads once you get them? Is it wise to approach them as an niche? Very, very good question. And this is something that, oh man, I've got a lot of content on this because I've learned the hard way. So if you go check my YouTube channel, just look at one on, like, I think it's called something about a secret, a title, something about a secret, and that helped me a lot. One of the things, and I'll just tell you a very quick tip that has helped me a lot, Shalini, and I mentioned it in this video, is if I meet with a prospective lead in person or a phone call, I would get to know their business, how they started, what their goals are, and everything within 5 to 10 minutes, right? But I would not drag it on by asking the next question. I would ask, do you have a budget set aside for this project? And is it at least over X? And X, that's either gut feel, based on what you think it should be, if you think it's a big project, or what you think, or eventually you get better with experience. Two of those things. Only that, right? So let's say, for example, I'm like, hey, this guy wants, some platform or whatever. Like, okay, is your budget at least over 10 grand or over 5 grand or whatever? And he's like, whoa, more like 1 grand. I'll be like, okay, unfortunately, we can't work together. I can pass you on to someone else. Obviously, I wouldn't say it exactly like that, but you get the point. And that qualifies your leads a lot. The other one is, if you notice, it also all depends on where you're getting your leads from. If you're getting it from your website and you realize that they're asking a pattern of website or a pattern of questions, then you have to think like, what are they understanding or misunderstanding from my website? Is it a pricing question? Is it a trust question? Is it like a deliverable question? So you can address those things, and maybe it's about putting pricing on your website or asking different follow-up sequences in like an automation form to contact you. So there's quite a few different things. Your other question, is it wise to approach them as an agency? So that is up to you completely. You can approach them as an agency or individually. My advice is, even if you are using it on behalf of an agency, speak as a person, speak as Shalini. Don't speak as we at Jaswal agency, or, speak as Shalini. Okay. Let's see more questions. Okay, so it's a question just going back earlier. Would you offer subscriptions at Guardrails? Do you use for overconsumption of one service at a time, or what is the approach? Yeah, okay, so when it comes to subscription pricing, think of it like one, one task at a time. Okay, so let's say you've got a column of different options with your client. So the client on this column would be like, we want the logo bigger. We want, this to be done on SEO. We want this page redesigned. We want this element changed. We want this, we want this, we want this. You would then drag it over to doing, and then you would only move one. You would be doing that. And then when you're done, you move on to done, you move the next one over. That's as simplest answer as I can give. And the guardrails are up to you, because you need to set those boundaries and you need to explain. And that is all down to expectations. And I cannot tell you how big expectations are. Communication. You have to set communication expectations right up front with clients. What are they paying for? When are they going to get it? How are they going to get it? What can they expect from you in terms of updates? Those types of things are very, very important to set right from the start. Okay, cool. Let's see, is there more? So Keith says, is your freelance blueprint course the same as your complete freelance bundle? And if not, what's your difference? I believe it. Yeah, 2018, long time. So thanks, Keith. Okay, so the freelance blueprint course, I've paused that. I would actually suggest that you get the cohort, which is basically a course. It's about 2 hours long, really short and to the point, but quite helpful. freelancefam.com/cohort, freelancefam.com/cohort. It's completely free. And I'm pretty active in the community as well, Freelance Fam, and I can help you there. So I wouldn't recommend that you buy any of that stuff that I have. Okay, so let's go like this. So, is managing client expectations. For managing the project, you use a PM or client portal software. So look, I'll plug my own thing. I use for client portal, I use clientmanager.io. That's like my software that I use and sell. So yeah, that's exactly what I use. Okay, so let's see. Will says, I found that when I tell clients I offer more than just a website, that almost always they want to know more about my social media marketing. Yeah, it's actually very interesting, because I've also found that social media is extremely popular. Because why? Because that's something that we as individuals are almost on. Everyone is almost on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And it's the natural thing for small businesses, It's like, hey, are you on social media? Or it's like, hey, I noticed that this restaurant or this coffee shop is promoting like this event, or they've got this deal or something. I also want to show that. How do I do that? So yeah, I agree. And the nice thing about social media marketing is, in the bigger scheme of things, it's actually not that difficult to learn. It's a very good, interesting skill set to learn. Okay. Storyboard. Yeah, I can't type it on the screen, but if you just type in like Client Manager or clientmanager.io, that's where it would be. Yeah. All right. I see we've got 160 people with us now at the moment. That's cool. Thank you. I'm sorry if you just joined in. It is recorded, so I will have it on YouTube. That you can have a look, and hopefully it'll be helpful for you. I think we can wrap up within the next like 5 minutes or so if there's no more questions, or sooner. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free. Well, thank you. That sounds cool. Okay, so let's put this up. So Shalini says, I wonder if there's a way to make this darker. Let me just see. Can't make it darker. Okay. So Shalini says, when you whip up a website for your first free clients, where do you get the logo, graphics, and images, etc.? So look, nowadays it is so much easier. Like literally, it's so easy. Look, it depends what platform you use, but I'm a fan of Wix Studio. So if you type in on Wix Studio, let's say you want to focus on a plumber, for example, you can literally go on Wix Studio, design a plumber logo like through the tools inside. You'll say like make a logo for plumber. Boom. Images. I want an image of a plumber, standing at my door, or driving, or fixing some stuff, whatever. And you can get that all with some AI and stuff. There are a lot of graphics and images and whatever that you can use, but the main thing is you want to use very good professional images. And quite simply, what you tell them is, look, I'll change the logo, I'll change the images to whatever your business needs. So those are very, very quick, small things that one can change. Okay, so I think Akaniene, sorry if I've got the pronunciation wrong. How do I benchmark a website and compare it to competitors? What metrics should I use? Okay, good question. It all depends on what you're selling. So if you are going the more technical route, you can just use simple Google page speed analysis or GTmetrix or whatever, just to see like or Lighthouse or whatever, how fast a website loads, right? Or maybe it's compression issues or whatever, right? So that's on a technical side. Maybe you're offering SEO. SEO is a very easy one to compare. It's basically who ranks more. And I found that if you rank at the bottom of the first page or the second page, those are fantastic opportunities, especially if you know SEO well, that you can offer that to them. When it comes to web design, that's actually more easier than what you think. Not all websites actually look very good on mobile, which gets the majority of traffic. And also, not all websites actually look good and effective. So this is down to you then to just learn CRO, conversion rate optimization, how to make effective websites. There's a lot of cool free content on YouTube that you can do. And there you'll see, like for example, I spoke about plumbers earlier. Instantly, I would know you have to have on a plumber website a call section on the top. Without me even scrolling in the hero section, I want a nice image and I want like a lead form right here without me even scrolling. If you don't have that, you're losing out on leads. Know that instantly. So once you know that, then you'll be like, hey, and you can see other websites that basically just look bad or not nice images or cluttered and old school and whatever, and you compare that with very good websites. The other thing that I like doing, if you've got not good enough competitors locally, look nationally or internationally. So, and you'll find some very, very good websites on what a website should look like in a particular niche. Okay, cool. I think that is pretty much it actually. Yeah, maybe I don't know if anyone has any one parting words or anything else that they want to say, and then I think we'll wrap up. Okay, Christian says this. Whoa. Okay, let's just do this quick. I've been doing SEO for my plumber client for free in the last 3 months. At the same time, doing a local SEO course. I've learned a lot, and it generated in a few phone calls, and I see that I still have a lot to do on it. Yeah, look, definitely. I think that actually it's actually quite interesting because local SEO, Google Maps for plumbers are non-negotiable, especially local businesses. So you need that. If you're already getting a few calls, amazing. Keep going. Should go on. Should you go on this path? Yes. So it's working. Double down. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Storyboard. Yeah, exactly, Christian. All down to expectations. Cool. Yeah, agreed. Well, SEO is a money machine. Yeah, I've got quite a few clients on SEO, and it's actually quite nice because it's very, very good to outsource. You know? So yeah, it's not only that, but it's a helpful service to offer clients and also to do for yourself. Yeah. Shalini, how do I track results for one of websites? Okay, I'm gonna make a few assumptions here, but um, uh, okay, so results you referring to maybe like contacts or downloads or sales or something like that, right? So you do a website now, and then 3 months later or 6 months later, you would just simply send them an email, just asking them, and I mentioned it before, but you would say something like, um, "Hey John, I really enjoyed working together. I take pride in my work, and I just want to follow up and see if you've noticed any increase in, sales or bookings or calls or whatever since we finished off the project. Basically just ask, and that's how you would track it. That's assuming you don't have access to ongoing stuff like, let's say, Google Analytics or any other analytics tools that you can see for yourself. Yeah, cool. I think let's maybe do one more if there's anyone. Otherwise, then we'll just wrap it up. Okay, I think that's it. Um, Everyone, this was emotional. Thank you for your time, and thank you for this. Uh, it's a big topic, getting to 10K, and a lot of you haven't earned your first $100 yet, 500 or 1,000 or whatever. And I can tell you that once you do that, once you reach 1,000, MRR, your next goal should be 2,000, then 3, then 5, and then go from there. But once you get to that point, trust me, you are doing what is working. Just keep doing that, and you'll see how your business will compound from there. The hardest part is, the beginning stages. I'm looking for the book, but the 0 to 1, that's the hardest part. Once you get over that, it's going to get better and easier as you go. And yeah, if you guys need help, freelancefam.com, that's my free community. We're pretty active there and can help you. Yeah, so I really appreciate you guys' time. Thank you so much, and I will see you probably later in the year. So thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.